Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ready 2000 Podcast. I'm here with Joe Anthony.
What's going on, guys? Boy, we got a topic to talk about, huh?
Yeah, we don't take our is not enthusiasm when we talk about, but so this week officially the Star Wars Acolyte for Disney Plus show just ended its first season, and yeah, there's a lot of talk about for this show.
Well,
Let's what are you gonna say?
I just want to say, off rip, I know that there's a lot of people bashing the show online, and rightfully so. Like, if you're a fan of the show, I feel so bad for you because there's no corner of the internet that you can actually turn to.
Oh, before I give any, before we go any, sorry to cut you up, but one more thing. If anyone thinks we're going to be talking about anything like that toxic fan base that hates the way some of these actors look or their politics into some of these things, we're not going to go into that at all.
Yeah, honestly,
Click off.
that's the thing that I was gonna say. It's very two sided though, because it's like there's people who just want to love Star Wars and like they don't want to hear any criticism, and then there's the other camp of no, we should 100% be talking about what is wrong with Star Wars right now. And
No, I meant in the sense of, I'm talking about the sense of that very toxic community that don't like to
oh
see
no,
these
yeah,
different
that's what I was
yeah.
gonna say because just to get it off, let's get this out of the way in the beginning. This show sucks, and this show sucks, and and what sucks even more is that when a show like this is terrible, there is no avenue for you as a fan to go and
To give constructive criticism.
without. I know for me, like I've never followed any YouTubers or anyone who talks Star Wars, so I just went online one time because I was so mad. I was like, "This is terrible." I just need someone to tell me that are my fucking criticism, is my shit valid? You know what I'm saying? So I go online and I go to Star Wars Theory. Never seen this guy ever. You know what I'm saying? And just get fuck my whole feed after watching one video gets flooded with all these YouTubers who are just on the biggest fucking hate wagon that I've ever seen. Like they're going in on there's a Jedi who's fat or whatever, right? They're mad that there's a Jedi that's fat. That's the level of like negativity that I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? You're not even criticizing it anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say that exactly. There's definitely a community out there that is, like I always keep saying, these very toxic communities that just don't like the way some of these actors, ethnicities on the show or whatever, politics, whatever. Fuck those people. And then there's also those other fans who, remember, they make bank on YouTube hating. They just make banks. Oh my god, it's a printing money machine to have to hate on Star Wars and Disney and Marvel. So they're just gonna make more and more shit. They're being consumed by the dark side, and I don't want to give any of those fuckers a platform. So that's all it is. Like they're gonna reach for fat Jedi's, and I mean, like, fuck those guys. But that's the only disclaimer I want to give to anyone who's listening. We're not gonna fucking fuel any of those mother people. We're gonna give actual constructive criticism to Disney's Star Wars Acolyte. Shit, this is not. I'm not feeling with the show. Yeah, let's give just a little small overall criticism of without the entire season.
Okay, I'm so glad I gave the entire show a try because on paper this show makes sense. Like on paper, everything I could see where someone read the elevator pitch of the show and thought, "Hey, that's not a bad idea."
Yeah, so true.
These two twins get separated. One falls to the Jedi, one falls to the Sith. They come back years later as adults and the roles become flipped. So the Jedi slowly becomes the Sith, and it's a really cool, neat idea. But yeah, along the way, I think obviously the execution, and I think what the ultimate downfall of this show is the writing. Like hands down, the writing.
Absolutely agree. Oh my god, absolutely agree. Yeah, okay, I agree. On paper, as an elevator pitch, you said, I can see this. Yeah, this sounds like a cool, and taking place in the High Republic sounds awesome. My overall thoughts on this first season is just everything was just not every plot point or big moments or any twist or anything. All executions just didn't land. They were just not good.
That's what I think.
And then the writing, there was some like, go ahead.
That's why I think we should probably start with something that is okay. What did we like?
Yeah, let's start off with the positives. Good idea. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna get roasted. I don't give a fuck. Come at me, internet. But this is some of the best lightsaber duels and fights I've ever seen since the prequels. This is probably the only good fight Disney's ever done with lightsaber duels. because I'm a huge fan of the prequels lightsaber fights where they're so fast and they're just going crazy and martial arts and all that stuff. And then ever since Disney took over, their lightsaber duels in the movies and other TV shows are like slow
Very stilted.
and have a weight. Yeah, stilted. Almost like if the lightsabers have weight to them.
Yeah.
A lightsaber has. They're like, why are they fight? Like it's weird. And man, this show. That's the. Yeah, I would actually go say that's the best thing about Star Wars Acolyte
Oh,
is their choreography and their martial arts and their fighting for like the show. It's really good.
no question. I think episode 4 was episode 4 where we see Khmer.
No, I think it was episode
Or
5.
episode 5, the night it's called,
Yeah,
or
I think
whatever.
yeah.
Where we see the Sith.
Yeah, come here.
Khmer, yeah. And him just fucking destroying a bunch of Jedi.
Oh man,
Yeah, it's some of the best choreography that we've seen
that
in a
was
while.
fucking badass. Hell yeah.
What's my favorite thing?
Also, later on in the season, where Aka, the Wookiee Jedi, and him versus the other
Oh,
Lady
yeah.
Soul and that lightsaber duel was fucking badass.
What's
too.
wild is like, yeah, I
Um,
felt tension. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's a.
Jedi, which is great because we'll get to it later, but I thought that we wouldn't see the Kanaka fight.
Yeah.
But man, at least they gave us that scene, and I was like, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah. What do I like from the show? I would say what I liked was I like some of the actors. I forget her name.
Soul
Was incredible. I think
Soul's awesome.
yeah, what he did learning English, and even though
Oh, Lee Jung Ye.
yeah, and even though the material that he was given is very one-dimensional, but he gave it his all, man. He really did.
Yeah, he learned English to play this samurai character, to play this Jedi, and he was iffy apparently on taking it. Not taking it, but maybe should I? He loves Star Wars, yeah. But someone like read him like what it was, and they were like, "This is like samurai. This is like good. This is the character's noble." He's like, all right, I'm in.
Khmer was really cool. I didn't think I would like him, but by the end I was like, hey, you know what? Yeah, he's cool.
He works for like the dark side, yeah.
Yeah. What was the young Padawan's name?
Torben,
Oh no, the girl from
Oh.
Logan.
the twins. Oh, the girl from Logan. Oh, I forgot her name. Jackie.
Jackie. Yes.
Yeah, Jackie.
Probably my favorite character in the show. Her character,
Really?
yeah, she was just very strong without beating you over the head with the fact that she was a young Padawan, but also wise.
Yeah.
There's a scene.
Yeah, she just does her shit.
Yeah.
There's no weight to her character. There's no, not to say in a bad way, but just, yeah, she reminds me of what a Jedi's supposed to be. Just get shit done.
Yeah, but what I really love about her is that, like you said, there's no flaws to her character because she's the Padawan. But when shit hits the fan, she was in that bitch.
Man.
She was in that bitch.
You know that's X-23, right?
Yeah. I was like,
Oh my God, she went
honestly,
ham.
like, what a perfect casting.
Yeah, she was cool.
Yeah. The casting, some of the casting was great.
Oh, and some people have said this. I disagree completely. But I'm not saying it's amazing, but I do like it. I do like the costume design for the show. Some people say it looks like a kid's play or some shit. I was like, all right, you guys are wild. I'm like, I like the gold robes and like some of the aesthetics. Even Khmer, like his like helmet and the robe thing he has. I'm like, yeah, they look cool. I think they look
That's
great.
what I think in a better Star Wars, people wouldn't question this. That's where it gets into nitpicking and like, and you know what else?
Exactly. That's about it, really, for me.
Yeah, I can't really. Now I'm really stretching it. I do like that they're both one person. Like the Force couldn't figure out how to create the perfect.
All right, let's get to the twins played by.
I like that. I know that's super controversial, but I like it.
Osha.
And
there it
May.
is. Sorry, goes here. Osha May. There it is. Okay, no, I didn't like them.
I didn't like. I'm
Um,
not saying I like the actress or her acting or the storyline.
I know you said it earlier that you like the concepts. Now I'm getting to the negatives.
Yeah.
And the negatives is Osha May, played by that actress. I think her name is Lori Bradley. They never captured me in the fact of really being like, I want to be part of the Jedi, and I'm so evil when I turn. And they just, I don't think they worked that off for me. Like you said, I like the idea of it, but no, I just wasn't. I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I think the reason is obviously the writing and some of the direction. Like, if the character,
And motivations.
yeah, the motivations, 100%. They were never as impactful, or you never wanted to stick around and watch more. I could understand watching the first 2 episodes and being like, I'm out, guys. What are they doing?
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, just.
Yeah, there's some motives for these characters that like I know we're gonna be harping on this all the entire podcast, but you guys, yeah, if anyone's listening, you have to understand the writing is just not there for the show. I gotta look up who wrote this show too, but the writing, I know we keep saying that, is because like we have I think it's like Osha, yeah, or no, May's like the one who wanted to be the Jedi, and when she's a little kid, and they just write, I want to leave family and be a Jedi. Why? What? We have no information on what the Jedi are, or what's going on here.
And here's my thing
And
that,
Osha,
and here's my
go
thing
ahead.
is that it's not just Osha and May, like the actress who played the twins. It's also the children actors who they got. Like I know Star Wars is always filled with really not really good actor like child actors, except Leia from Obi-Wan. I don't know where they found that little girl to play Leia.
Oh
Just
yeah,
fucking amazing.
she was great.
But
You
the
talking about the when they're in the flashbacks?
yeah, the flashback scenes with May and Osha are just I
Okay.
feel so bad saying this, but I just don't I
Yeah.
don't understand how you can film something and in your heart of hearts know that these people aren't supposed to be there. And you're leading them to a world of criticism by fucking these like nobodies, you know what I'm saying, who spent all their life just ripping Star Wars apart. And you're just gonna
Yeah.
feed them to the wolves. You know what I'm saying? At what point is it your
It's like
responsibility to take these? Honestly, I just feel bad because they weren't great.
yeah,
They weren't great.
it's like what George Lucas says. It's like poetry. They rhyme, and now they're doing like what they did with Jake Lloyd
Yeah,
and these kids. But I don't think these kids are gonna get ridiculed. Like fucking, that's an
I
exaggeration.
hope
But
not.
back to the like the writing of the thing. Like I said, yeah, man, just so much stuff. Like shit. This then let's talk about the giant one. The giant thing is like this mystery angle for the show. The entire season is this mystery angle about these. There's these cult of witches that they inform us that make these two twins, and they keep it a secret. They'll be like, "How do how do we make these two twins and all this stuff?" And they explain that they made them through the thread, which is another in their cult, I guess, their terminology for the Force, and that they're gonna try to. They have that dance situation, dancing
Oh my god,
ceremony thing that was lame.
Jesus.
But yeah, they have these twins that are born by the Force, and then Jedi. What we're supposed to learn from the beginning of the season is like Jedi show up and they want to at least train one of them into the ways of the Force, almost very aggressively for some reason. I don't know why Jedi's written like this. And then one of the twins, I believe it's Osha, burns like starts to burn down the temple, the witch's temple, but we only see it from May's perspective. And then when they get out, her mom's dead, and all the people in the cult are dead. And Soul's, oh, your sister started fire, and I couldn't save her. It's this whole like mystery angle. I'm like, okay, clearly we don't have all the pieces, and I'll wait to see maybe this mystery box to see how it goes and opens up. And then when they revealed everything, I was like, that was not, man, was that not? It was like the motivations and the stakes were not really that high enough for what some of these characters like try to cover up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you go and like I said, I remember when we first started watching before the Acolyte, we started watching episode 1. I remember asking you like, if this show goes into, if we're watching this show from the perspective of the Jedi, that's an automatic failure because this was supposed to be a show where you follow the Sith. That's all I kept hearing about was that the creator of the show fascinated by Sith mythology. And me personally, going into another Star Wars property, I was so tired of hearing the Jedi mythology about balance and force and all that. So going into this and watching the first 2 episodes, and it's just we're following the Jedi, and May has a secret master that we have never seen. I'm like, why are we not following that storyline? Is the mystery of this as important as just following Kamir to try and recruit May? You know what I'm saying? Or May's sister, which would be even more fucking fascinating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I gave it.
Sadly, that's not the
Yeah,
case.
I tried to give it a chance and see. Maybe the mystery is strong. Maybe the mystery is strong, and it is just not. Instead of
That's hilarious
making,
that you bring that up. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, instead of making a story about the Sith who are bad guys, and you know they're bad guys, you took the Jedi and made them comparable. You know what I'm saying? You made them corruptible. And that is like, why would you had it?
That's okay in the prequels, but like doing it again in the High Republic, like why?
Why?
Like,
Exactly. There's no point in I just man, what a weird try.
I absolutely agree. And what's funny is when we talked about this a couple of days while back of way when the first couple episodes came out or the trailers coming out, I was surprised to see the Sith. I remember I was telling you, I was like, yeah, that's crazy they're showing a Sith character, and you're like, why? Because in the High Republic, they never the Sith haven't been heard of for a millennium, like Kiadi Mundi says. And what's ironic and hilarious is that was my worry, not worry, but like surprise. I was like, okay, shit, I guess they're doing this, right? Come to find out, when the show does come out, no, they don't have good enough writing to have the Sith in there, and it's like this big controversy. Everyone's like, so what the hell's going on? So the entire show is essentially them covering it up. All Jedi's are covering it up. No one knows about it and all that stuff. It was like it was like the writers were like, we gotta put the Sith in here and the rise of Sith and all that stuff, right? It's like, wait, this is the High Republic. There's no Sith. It'll resolve itself all at the end because everyone dies and we'll have some council lady in Dara just be like, no, none of it. It's actually a rogue Jedi or some shit. And what's hilarious to me too is like Disney created the High Republic. That's their era they created, and in that era, by their definition, is the height of the Jedi. It's where all Jedi's were like golden robes and they were awesome and they were like badass, and it's like we all thought what Jedi's would be. And then the show comes out and they're all written like stone face and almost like you could see, yeah, almost like if anyone didn't know Star Wars and then watched the show and saw how the Jedi's portrayed, they're like, I don't think they're good guys.
Yeah.
They don't seem like they're just showing up and be like, give us the children or we'll kill you all. Okay, I didn't say that. But like a very threatening, very almost threatening Jedi's. Like they were portrayed so. And also in the council, like in Coruscant too, everyone's just going along with whatever Indara says. Indara's just like, we're doing this and doing that and don't cover up. And they're like, oh, there's someone who's rogue going out there. Kiadi Mundi has like that scene where he's, I think there's a rogue Jedi or some shit like that, right? So, like, is anyone gonna do anything about this? It's so weird.
It just bonkers to me that there was a cover up to begin with. What, like, if the cover up was just that important, I can understand trying to hide this. You know what I'm saying? But now you've implicated the Jedi Council. Like that scene where she at the very end, the cliffhanger where she goes to Yoda. Yoda must know now. You know what I'm saying? So what you're telling,
or that the council, whatever. I think it's like Senate Council before. No, whatever. There's like the smaller council she goes to, and she just kind of says, "Soul rogue killed all these people," and blah blah. And they're all like, "Okay,
yeah, fine,
sorry, gotcha." What the hell? I'm telling you, the writing is no one gonna question this? Is no one gonna question? You know what someone brought up? I was like, oh yeah, that makes fucking no sense. Why did Soul, after 15 years, just randomly go back? If that's the cover up, go back and then kill those 4 other Jedis, and then a bunch of other Jedis come and get him, and he kills them all. There was like no mode in her cover up story.
Yeah.
Why did Soul just randomly go after Indara and the Wookiee guy and Torben after 15 years? We obviously know as an audience member because, you know, the Acolyte and they're going after killing all that stuff, right? So her story just randomly says he went rogue. And right now.
Just randomly.
He was just in the temple teaching kids. He was just right there. We all know him. But now he went rogue and killed 15 people. Don't question it.
Yeah. Right? Just don't, like, I'm pretty sure someone in the council, wait a sec. Like, you gotta.
Oh, also, none of these Jedis care. I guess nobody cares. There's 15 Jedis just died.
Yeah. And
one random Senate guy who she meets in a meeting goes, I hear about these attacks. Is there someone out there? Like, how the fuck does he know that? like this council of Jedis don't know what's going on. No, this whole like temple of Jedis are just kind of like following orders, and I guess nobody cares their friends are dying. But this one random guy who's like the Senate from the streets are like, you guys need to be put in check now. So I'm like, how did you know this? Like, I think this show just writes stuff on top of each other and they're not connecting the dots at all for like why. They just want to move it along. Like.
Yeah, and I think the ultimate thing about this is that if you pinpoint exactly the point where shit has hit the fan and they can't go back, right? It's when it's the grand reveal of what Soul did all those years ago by killing Osha and May's mother. This is
by a misunderstanding.
Like and it's also the audience. Like we've never seen her turn into a smoke demon,
which is again not explained.
Which is never explained. We don't know what's
going on as an audience.
She's shifting into a witch demon, as is Osha, or I think it's May. Yeah, and.
No, Osha.
Yeah, and so we don't know if as an audience member, we have no idea. What the fuck? Who cares?
We have no idea. Soul has no idea what's going on. You never explain it. Not only that, she like corrupts Torben when they first go there. So she
Yeah.
clearly has like evil implications and all that stuff. And then when the Jedi show up, they're all like, "Why? So you can steal our children and what do you call it? Take them away from their family and all this stuff? Turn into a giant smoke demon, then get stabbed." I was gonna let her go.
I was gonna let it like.
And I was like,
That
"What the fuck?
is-
You can't have it both ways, dude.
Yeah,
What's going on?"
That was the most. I think that was the most evil line in the thing. Like whose last fucking words is "Yo, you fucked up." Ugh, that's just crazy to me, man.
It's so stupid.
I think that's what really sucks about this show is that no matter where you go with it, if they're gonna do a season 2 or if we never hear from this era of the Star Wars, the moment where shit hits the fan is this misunderstanding
Mm.
that makes no sense across the entire field of characters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Not only that, but all these Jedi's, if you're watching it before the reveal of what happened, which wasn't that big of a deal, that Osha started the fire, and then witch lady turned to smoke, and then Soul kills her by mistake, not mistake, but a misunderstanding. Then all the other witches, ladies in the place possess Kelnaka,
Yeah.
and then they stop that, and then all the other witches die. And then they get back on their ship, and they're all, "What are we gonna tell the council? What is if this giant cover up kind of?" I don't know. As a viewer, I'm watching it and thinking before they showed it off, thinking like, "Oh man, it must have been like they must have killed everybody or some shit, like some rogue Jedi, like crazy." No, it's it's a pretty reasonable understanding what happened, and they were like, "We're gonna have to cover this up."
Can't tell Soul.
Anyway, I'm like, no, I don't know. They were a cult of witches making up their own rules of the Force. You know what I mean? I think it'd be pretty right, and also Soul really wanting to have evidence for the convergence or something. Yeah, avergence or something like that. And it's like he needs both daughters, but since one of them died, no, I can't. We can't. They won't listen to me. The council won't listen.
It's not.
Pretty sure someone would tell.
Yeah, it's not strong enough. If you were to have given us a scene where the Soul is talking to the council, and it's something very minuscule, but the council doesn't want to hear it, because they have strict Jedi code or strict Jedi orders of no, you have to do this and that. We could see the bureaucracy of it. We could see, oh fuck, even if I do bring one of them, they're not gonna believe me. But we get none of that, so we just have to take him at his word that he needs.
Just needs to show, but they won't listen to her. He needs both.
Yeah.
It's like, guys. Also, if you go to a planet and camp on that planet for 6 weeks, just picking up grass and flowers and stuff like that, because might be evidence of it. And Torben's like, "I want to go home. I don't like it here." And then there's like evidence.
I honestly,
the 2 girls and everything, and then just like drives away, like, "There's evidence. I want to go home." That's his entire motivation. Just, I'm homesick, man. I just
the fuck, man.
I don't like this food. I don't like this food here on this planet.
Fucking sucks.
You know what's funny that someone brought up to? I was like, "Oh yeah, they like found out right then and there on the tablet that they're both the same person." Torben like says on his tablet, like, "Wait a minute, but they're the same like person. This happened like 15 years ago. Is that not enough for Soul to go back and be like, hey, what the fuck's going on here, Council? You look at this. You know what I mean? Like, you got the evidence right there. I don't know."
Wait,
what
what part?
When Torben's he's showing Soul and the other Jedi in the middle of the woods, like, he got information on the two on Osha and May, and finds out no, but they're exactly the same. They're the same person, and they have like evidence, right? So he goes, "Look, there's evidence. We gotta go, right?" Or some shit. Why couldn't Soul just use that and bring it back to the council? Is it still not? Does he really need both twins to come back and be like, please? Like,
I was so.
That was 15 years ago.
I'm saying, like, I was so taken back by this man Corbin dipping out of the camp that I'm like, it was so like abrupt that I was like, this is crazy writing. I'm
telling you, they just need the scene to move. Just move it.
Like,
move it
as I've written scripts before, and I've gone to parts in scripts where I'm like, I just need the plot to move, and I need characters to do things. And that's all part of the first draft of writing a script. It's once you reread it back and you see how that character makes no sense doing that motivation. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I gotta rework that. That I remember watching that and just I was cracking up because I was like, damn, dude, that's crazy. They straight up left the first draft. You know what I'm saying?
Just also remember that. Just remember though that if a evil person kills all your Jedi friends and leaves you alive, and you're alive to go able to kill him, make sure you take off your top and walk into a nice little jacuzzi bath and make sure you're ripped, and then turn around and just be like, "Oh, well, you're gonna take me down or something like that?" And he's all handsome and scrumptious. So she just, "Let me learn about the." I was like, what was that scene? What was that? Disney. Look, Disney, I'm gonna need you to explain this.
I'm gonna argue.
He walks in there. He walks in there, comes out. So I was like, extremely random. I was like,
I'm gonna argue. Attack of the Clones has a better love story than this fucking.
you know what's funny? I didn't put it together that it's that. I guess this being love. I literally just it went over my head because I don't even know if it's love or anything. They don't. At the very end, they hold hands, but it was so out of place that I was like, "What the?" That's the scene I started cracking up. I'm like, why are they doing this? Like, it was so random.
And her character throughout this entire show, up to where she gets captured, has never given me any sense of she would do this.
Yeah.
So I'm watching those scenes being like,
other than the fact that she can't control anger. Like,
yeah, and you're like, and he's what did he say? When she grabbed the lightsaber, he's like, you could kill me or whatever, something like that. And she just doesn't. She lets him talk. I'm like, he killed Jackie. You had a conversation. There was a scene where you guys were like best friends. You know what I'm saying?
Like, what are the motivations for any of these characters? Why does Kamir want to be and have an acolyte? Why is he evil? He like shows up and he's literally written like a Disney cartoon villain, and he's just, I need an acolyte. I need a apprentice. Cool. Why are we gonna learn? Okay. Why is this? We gotta talk about that ending. Let's just get to this ending because the final episode just came out, and fucking May Soul explains that he had to kill their mother and all that, and then she just starts force choking him. The first force choke in the timeline of the Star Wars. And won't let him explain himself. Like,
by that point, I was.
He's your master. He used to be your master. He used to be someone you look up to. Yeah. And then she's like, stop talking. What do you really think? I know you weren't there, but do you think he just killed her and it was like, I'm evil? You know him for so long that you just thought he killed your mother. You wouldn't let him explain. But now I'm telling you, she just randomly. I do not believe this character.
And I
just don't believe.
I think by that point, my interest in the character was completely like, I was so like over it. Like her character, like I said, when she with her joining Kamir and accepting being there and making no sense. By the time we get to the force choke scene, I'm like, all right, you guys want this and haven't explained why, so I guess it's happening. You know how you're like, there's no like, I have no control over this.
It's so true. If you're watching it, things are just happening. So shut up. There's no setup. There's no just like. It's happening and that's it. And you're just like watching, being like, I guess we're going down this hole now.
Guess, like, nothing. Did they explain that? That's crazy.
They did it. I don't know. Oh man.
So yeah, I was just completely checked out. Like that scene, I was like,
oh wait, Joe, don't you get it that they swap clothes now? Don't you like? Isn't that wow? Like textbook 101, like storytelling. The good one wore light clothes and the bad one wore dark clothes. Hear me out. At the end, hold on, sit down. At the end of the show, the good one turns bad and the bad one's okay. And now they were wearing different clothes. Now the bad one's wearing white. And can I get a raise? Because Disney.
The thing with Star Wars is that it's not subtle. Star Wars has never been subtle. But I remember seeing that, like the switching of the clothes, and I was just like, man, that just took it.
Bro, I rolled my eyes. I was like, I think you could do that subtly if the show if it wasn't so like shittily written and not do like subtle things, you know what I mean? If it just happens in another scene, I'm like, yeah, there you go. It's not in your face about it. This show is all about in your face about it. I'm like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Also, the first time canon on-screen version of a lightsaber bleeding into a red lightsaber.
Yes. Which is
I don't believe her. I don't buy into the fact that she's turning evil, but at least it looked cool.
Yeah, it's another one of those. It's a cool thing that happens outside, like canon Star Wars. Like it was something that was already established. It's in the Star Wars Jedi games.
Yeah. A lot of the books do and everything, which I agree with a lot of people. Like this could have been something really cool for you to explain to the audience.
No,
there's a lot of people who don't know about it. I understand us, but I'm saying like there's plenty of people who are watching and be like, what? Our lightsabers are mood rings? What's going on here? I don't like. It could have been a great moment for you to explain that earlier in the season, and then it's happening in the show, and you'd be like, oh shit, there, you know what I mean? No, it just kind of happens, and you're like, oh, okay.
And that's my thing that bothers me the most is that we already established that the character Osha gets to the end of the show with zero motivation to be a Sith. So we're checked out, and that comes at the cost of her killing Soul, who's just genuinely like everything he's done. I'm like, he's such a good guy. Like he's such a good guy. Like how do you expect us? Here's the thing about writing villains or going down the villain arc. You know what I'm saying? It's very tricky because no one wants to actually follow villains.
Yeah, it's
It's
hard.
hard to. So I think what they were trying to do with this show is play with the audience in a sense of, oh, you think Osha's a good guy, but we're going to turn her evil in order for you to follow her journey as a Sith under Khmer.
Yeah.
So at the end of this, when she kills Soul, and Soul is pleading, I
So,
explain
like,
myself. It was a misunderstanding. She turned into a ghost. I don't even know. It's just so
Right.
funny. I can't. I wish he explained it like that.
It's
I really wish he was like, no, she turned into a ghost, dude. Fucking.
or and it's funny how Osha's behind him too, right? He could have just turned around and be like, "You were there? What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Like,
You turned into that thing
you were
too.
there?
You not feel that?
You want to back me up here? What's going on? What was happening? Fuck, she's gonna kill me. What the hell's going on?"
It just comes at the cost of a noble character who did noble things, and there was never a moment in there that I think the writers were trying to get us to side with Osha. Because in a really good story, if you're a really good storyteller, you can balance both. If the outcomes are like, if the story is
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
if Soul actually did something heinous to the point where the audience like, damn, that it's you know what it reminds me of Breaking Bad, and everyone always probably talks about this, but Breaking Bad, the scene where Walter doesn't turn Jesse's
Spoilers.
yeah Walter doesn't turn Jesse's girlfriend when she's vomiting.
Yeah.
We're watching that, and we know that's a heinous act. Like, why would you not do that? She's choking. You let her die. You know what I'm saying? That's and we like the character
Yeah.
that we like that character. We like Jesse and her and his girlfriend. So him not saving her, that's a heinous act. We can now not side with Heisenberg, right?
Yeah.
And it was one of the very first early acts of his evil shit. If we had that in this show, I could see it in a different universe where the writing was better, where Soul is pleading for his life, and Osha's no, because you did this. It'd be like,
You know, they have a good. She does have a good line, which is, if you try to protect me, why did you protect it? Why did you keep it secret from the council? Which is a valid point. That was a good one, right? But then she's like, still is getting too attached to her, and then she just starts choking him. I was like, okay, you were going somewhere with it,
that line's
and absolutely. What?
that line is so weak because she has no ties to the council. What the fuck does she care about what the council has to say?
Yeah, exactly. It's so weird. And also that ending. They go to that tree and they're just like hugging and they're like, I'm sorry, I guess I'm gonna bye. I'm leaving to be evil with my scrumptious hot boyfriend. You should see you should see our jacuzzi. And you're gonna be kidnapped, okay? We're gonna for some reason they leave her behind. I don't know why they couldn't take her. Like, just leave you behind. And they're crying. I don't buy any of this. And then Kamir's like, I could erase your memories. And they're like, wow, convenient writing plot device kind of thing out of nowhere. Just waves his hand. You know what? This is
I was literally
sentimental for the Sith guy.
Yeah.
This is the Sith guy is very understanding as a Sith guy. Very, all right, yeah, you can stay. Yeah, I'll take you along, but I'll wipe your memory so you don't have to remember any of this, and I'll leave you behind and all that stuff. What the fuck? I thought you were like Sith and killed people. I was like, would have been great if he wrote a scene or some shit where he's like, no, she can't be around. You know what I mean? We gotta kill her or some shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, write something where we're like, the Sith is like, whoa.
Yeah, it's as simple as one line. Rule of two. I can't take her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was literally like at that scene where I can't take you along, or no, we have to mind wipe you. I was like, why? I literally looked around. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why? Just take her with you. Like, that's your
and a simple hand wave, like a simple whoop. Oh my god,
man, bro.
Which apparently I had to look it up. I was like, was there ever a mind wipe in Star Wars? I was trying to think, and apparently there was a scene in the Clone Wars animated show. There was like a mind wipe or some shit, but it took a lot more. I think it was than just a fucking hand wave. I was like, wow, that's fucking convenient. Some people said that he should have pit them against each other. That would be cool.
Oh, I would have fucked. That would have been 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought I was a good guy? Here we go. How dedicated are you?
That would have been genius because you're trying to show it to the audience with a Sith. And if I'm watching the show as like if I'm watching the show, I'm like, yo, this Sith is cool and all this stuff. And they're doing kind of noble shit and kind of stuff that I'm like, okay, they look like good guys to me because the Jedis are assholes. That's the point where you would show if they went with that route of them fighting each other is where you get the audience be like, oh no, that's fucked up. Wait, time out. Like, I can't back that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they just
that relationship. Just one more thing. That relationship with Osha and May, and them having their own catchphrase and like absolutely didn't work. Like, absolutely. That hug scene at the end with the tree, I remember being like, man,
Nope,
no,
not buying it.
not even
Not buying
close. Not even close. And they're crying too. I'm like, man,
it.
that's crazy. That's crazy. You,
At least she's giving it her all.
yeah. And they thought, writers genuinely thought that was it. We're gonna close on this
Yeah.
bitch.
Whew, we nailed it. We nailed it. But yeah, there's I want to talk about. There's plenty of more shit we could talk about. Obviously, there's like controversy with Keanu Bundy saying millennial, whatever. There's all these other shit. I want to talk about. We can get to a lot more, but one last thing is I gotta talk about the cameos that showed up in this show. At the very end of the show, I get to one after this one, but at the very end of the show, Indara goes, "I gotta talk to you, Master." And the back of Grandmaster Yoda shows up in the show, and it's just them teasing, telling the audience, "You want a season 2? You want Yoda? Ask for it because we just showed Yoda." And I'm like, "Nope,
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna get me. I don't know."
And I think the cool thing is, I think a lot of people saw through that.
Yeah, obviously, I don't think Yoda's cool, but not worth it enough to get people to be like, "What is Yoda's gonna part in this plan? What is Yoda gonna be? Is he gonna cover it up for Endor? I don't give a fuck what Endor is. Apparently, she could do whatever she wants apparently in this council, and everyone's just gonna believe her. I guess. Also, in all their this has nothing to do with talking about, but in all their promotional trailers and art and all that stuff, they always show her lightsaber whip. She took that shit out for a second in the show and put it back. I was like, great. I want to see a lightsaber whip. It's pretty cool, but only got it for 11 milliseconds. But whatever.
I'll go on
But-
record and say I think her character was the absolute worst character in the entire show. Every time she came on, I
absolutely
was
agree.
like, "What is this character? I just don't understand her motivations."
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's the master of Khmer. She's the master of Khmer.
Yeah.
As if that's. Oh, you know what's so funny? It's essentially she's essentially bringing the downfall of the Jedi. She's bringing back the Sith, covering all this other. So kind of a lot of faulting on her. Fuck this bitch.
Yeah.
Anyways, we gotta talk about my boy showing up in this show, Darth Plagueis the Wise, which I really like this character. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, being like, you think we'll see Plagueis? Because I really like Plagueis, and seeing the writing of the show, talking about having Force children, being born by the Force, and we were talking about how like that kind of devalues Anakin's like story, being the chosen one. So what's going on? And if anyone reads Darth Plagueis' book from before in the Legends, that's all Darth Plagueis' motive is manipulating the midichlorians, or as Disney calls it, the M count, to create life. And that's how Anakin's born and shit like that. So saying Darth Plagueis in the show makes a lot of sense. But I remember watching the show, he comes around a little, he's literally hiding the shadows, hitting you in the head over with the idea of it. But I remember seeing the show and seeing him hiding, he shows up and I went, oh, damn. I was like, this overwhelming. I was like, yo, it's him. And then be like, not in this show. Like, damn it, not in this show. Like, I felt the, and then, damn. I mean, I like Plagueis, and I know a lot of people like Plagueis too, and I think there's a lot of potential with that character, but not with this writing. Especially if you read Darth Plagueis, the book, like the Legend book, that writing, that thing's Shakespearean to me.
So yeah, I remember. Yeah, I'm watching the show, and the Plagueis scene comes up, and I just remember thinking, this looks like they added it post production. Like they added this shit last week as a sense of, because that scene comes with no context, no warning, nothing.
In the middle of the episode too, not even at the end.
In the middle of the episode, this man is just hiding in a cave, Osama bin Laden style. It's just, I don't understand. It just felt 100% like they were like, let's give them the fan service. Let's give them the promise that we're going to do with this series is we're going to talk about Plagueis and the rise of the Sith and Palpatine and all that stuff. And I'm so glad that people are seeing through this shit. You know what I'm saying? That it's so obvious what Disney is playing with these characters. You know what I'm saying? It baffles me that we got Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, and The Return of Palpatine, and people, and how bad that idea was. And so their idea now is to make a show about the rise of Palpatine. What are we doing?
There's potential there. I know people like Palpatine. That's the reason. I can understand why people want to see like very young Palpatine, and it's like the prequel to the prequels. I could see like again on paper I could see it, but isn't it funny that Disney also they're sticking to their guns? Jedi suck ass in the show, and I'm not with these Jedis at all. And this is their High Republic they created, right? And then, yeah, they stick to their guns because that was all Luke's motive in The Last Jedi. The Jedi's are failures, and they're like, they brought the downfall and all that stuff, right? And it's, fuck, this is disappointing. I don't like this. And then it's like they make their own High Republic, and then they make their own show with these Jedi's, and they do suck. It's like, man, Disney's really trying to stick to their guns and be like, Jedi are ass. It's like, what the? Jedi can be flawed, sure. But no, they're supposed to be like the good guy. They're supposed to be me looking at them like, yeah, here we fucking go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Let's just give our overall like rating for the show for season 1.
I hope this is where it ends. I hope we have one season and we never see this. We never talk about it. You can leave this to books, comics, graphic novels, whatever you want to do. I don't want to see another dollar spent on this. It's just
I absolutely agree.
terrible.
What would you give it for a rating out of 10?
I would give it a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. I absolutely agree. I think honestly, it would really, the only way I would ask for season 2 is you completely ditch all writers, producers, whoever, like the people who are making the show, and then get a whole new squad in there. It's the only way I would allow season 2. But if you're gonna get the same people on board and the writers and whatever, right? No, completely ditch the show. We don't need season 2, or call it something else and have a new team on it, whatever. So I would give this. I'll give it a 3. I'll give it one more point because
Nice.
the martial arts was fucking badass.
Yeah, it really was.
Martial arts badass. Yeah, martial arts badass. But hopefully Disney will start cleaning up their act with these TV shows.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'll do it for this episode of the Red 2000 podcast. Say bye, Joe.
Take it easy.
Take it easy, everybody. May the force be with you.